Hey everybody, it's Ad the Red, and welcome back to Sunrider Liberation Day, the return chapter. Right on us we left off. We're not getting a saga to fuck over her friend because that's twisted as shit. Understood. Convincing the captain to change his mind will be difficult. I hope you're prepared, kiddo. I know. Yeah. But I know him better than anyone because, well, he's me. First, though, we'll have to send Valentino the FTL message ASAP so that his ships are ready to fight with us without Chigar's help. Yeah, come on, let's go. Right. Fucking smile. The two of them climbed out of the service tunnel and dropped down to the captain's office. As expected, a pair of Marines stood in front of the destination, rifles set at the ready. We're going to have to figure out a way to get them out of here. Right then, now we're back at a place where new things are happening. So, right, wait to see if his efforts bore fruit, and hello, Kato. Ava, need something more? No. I was merely going to invite you for a meal in my office. Ooh, your office. It's not every day when I can speak to you. Come to think of it, I was thinking the same thing. It'd be nice to have a chat for once. A short time later, the two of them were in the XO's quarters, the plates of food from the mess hall. Ava cut into her steak. I'm afraid I'm still having a hard time believing that you're here from the future. Much less there are two Kato shields in this universe, one who captains the ship and another from the future. No kidding. It's not any easier for me to get used to that either. To me, this is still my ship, but there's another guy captaining it. But that guy's still me, but not me. I better not think about it too long, or else I'll just end up it'll just end up driving me crazy. Tell the truth, though, I'm not sure if I have the right to call the Sunrider my ship anymore. In my timeline, I'm the one who got it sunk. Maybe it's better the other guy's in charge. He might be a stubborn shit-face, but in the end, he realized that Chigar was a spy. It's something I would never have been able to do myself. Technically, you kind of did do it yourself just now, didn't you? You were responsible for it. No, you only made the right call thanks to your assistance. Still, it certainly is reassuring that you have matured a bit in the future. Kind of. War truly does make men grow old early. I'm not sure about that. I'm still the old Kato Shields, just armed with the benefit of hindsight. Any fool knows what he should have done in retrospect. I'm not doing anything special. In any matter, talking about your timeline seems moot, as our actions have effectively ended that universe. Now we head towards a future which is yet unwritten. One which we steer with our direction. One which you steer with our decisions. Hey Ava, this is kind of changing the subject, but you know, in my version of events, you told me that you lied about not remembering our promise. You know, that promise we made after we did an advanced academy week before your graduation? Kato. Ava rubbed her brow in frustration, obviously displeased with the course the conversation was taking. Look, Ava, resolving the situation with Chigar is not the only thing I need to do in this universe. What about us? We left a lot of things hanging. Maybe I was just running away from it all and into Chigar's arms. Maybe that's what the prototypes are counting on. We both ran away. But since you're not the captain, I suppose I can talk about it. This time, I'm afraid I'm not your XO. Merely your friend. I'm more than happy with that. The day we abandoned Sarah scarred everyone on board this ship. It's a day which we cannot forget, even if we wish we could. My father was presumably killed the instant the Legion reduced command to a charred crater. Even though I was always distant from that man, he molded me into who I am today. I imagine I am his spitting image now, professional, detached. Whenever I look at myself in the mirror, I see him staring back at me. Will I ever measure up to his expectations? Likely not, as my most vivid memories of him are when he disciplined me. That stern face which always only said, "You must work harder," is the only expression I see in my own reflection now. It's the only face I'm capable of making. His ghost will not permit me to entertain any girlish fantasies of becoming reunited with my academy sweetheart or any such rubbish. Such delusions have no place in the mind of an XO. My duty to you is to remain professionally detached and to provide you with rational counsel. Nothing more. Ghost. Huh. Ghost. Shields looked beside him. Ah! Kato, what are you doing talking to Avi without me? Oh, you're eating steak too? Unfair. Big brother's unfair. I want some too. You're dead. You can't have any. Ghosts can't have food. Phantoms are only the projection to the living of regrets. Mm. Yeah, that's sad. That's real sad. He put his fork down, suddenly feeling queasy. You see them too. I'm not the only one who's crazy. Of course, not a night goes by. I regret surviving that day. Perhaps if I had died too, then I would be with her now. What am I saying? She's with you already. You lunatic. Can't say I'm actually religious enough to actually believe that. Ava stood from her seat and knelt beside Kato. Oh, hello. Aw. Kato, I'm sorry for never saying it then. When I was the only one who could understand half the weight you carry on your back. But I will say it now. You did not let anyone down that day. In the eyes of the crew, you're a hero. In my eyes, you're the very same Kato I grew fond of all those years back. The very same Kato who never left my side no matter how unreasonable my orders. And so I, Ava Crescentia, will do the very same. If you wish to march to the center of the sun, then I shall accompany you by your side to the very end. I know, Ava. Shields put his hand on Ava's head and stroked her long, flowing hair. He leaned down and approached her lips. She raised her face and closed her eyes. Their lips met again for the first time in so many years, and ellipses occurred. I guess just this one time's alright. After all, I don't know when I'll be able to stand before you as just a friend again. Ava? Oh. And fade to black. Probably missing something thanks to the lack of patch, but I'll go back and see it later. Well, Shields momentarily caught a respite thanks to his actions. He had no idea this big catastrophe has to come. Truly, after spinning on the highway, it seems under the bridge. Right, okay. Anyway, last we left off, the battle had started. I skipped through most of it and got to the point where Ava shows up, and she has her role in here instead of Ikari or Sola. So yeah, before she could reach him, a bullet impacted against Alice's energy barrier. Kato! Fucking badass with the eye patch, and Ava ran into engineering, a pistol in hand. Probably like a cutlass or something. Shields used the opening to scramble into cover while Alice stuck behind and grabbed a rifle. Ava and Shields pressed themselves against the workstation as Alice returned fire. Where's the rest of security? Already all dispatched, the rest are tied up below deck. Ava handed Shields a fresh pistol. I'll take her. You've got to activate the auxiliary cooling system. Alright. Ava popped out of cover and peppered Alice's Shields with bullets as Shields ran towards the reactor's controls. Useless. Useless! With the personal shield still active, Ava's shots only bounced harmlessly off Alice. Bullets ricocheted against the floor as Alice opened fire on Shields. He rolled away into the adjacent room, unable to reach the completely exposed reactor's console. No good. No good. Ava slipped her mounted clip at reloaded. However, she would need heavier weaponry to cut through Alice's barrier. Alice merely paced towards Ava as she popped more rounds. A sadistic sneer sliced Alice's face as the barrier deflected all of Ava's shots. Alice wrapped her hand on Ava's throat and lifted her off her feet. Ew. Sparks flew from Alice's hand as her barrier crushed Ava's throat. Ava! Pathetic. Is that all you've got? Alice tossed Ava to the floor like a rag doll. She stomped on Ava's back with her plug suit's padded soles. You've... Shields brought down a pipe on Alice's head, sending her saber clattering to the floor. We really gotta cut down on the speeches. The pipe crashed against the energy shield, sending feedback jolting through his arm, but Shields mustered his strength. He wrapped himself around Alice, putting her into a sleeper hold as her energy barrier sheathed through his uniform and flesh. The two of them struggled as Shields dragged her towards the flaming hot reactor core. You! Shields squeezed his eyes shut. He would drop Alice into the reactor shaft even if he had to fall off with her himself. Unnecessary shit. Skip right. Shields crawled over to Ava. Despite being covered with wounds, she nodded and gave a thumbs up. Ava! He wrapped his arms around her. We did it! Just then, Old Claw burst engineering, escorted by ship security. Ooh, Captain! Despite their injuries, the two of them struggled to their feet. The grins on their blood-stained faces, Shields and Ava waved. Soon they were both on stretchers while ship security detained Chigara, who had already surrendered peacefully. With Alice dead and Chigara never having entered the mine stream, there was no risk of Alice's ghost ever reasserting control over her again. Blah, blah. And back. The sun set over Sarah National Park. The Liberation Day celebration had just ended. It was a grand affair where Admiral Gray took to the stage to commend the fighting spirit of Sarah's only surviving assault carrier and presented Kato Shields with the Ultimate Cross. There were parades, a full orchestra, as well as enough Alliance and dignitaries to last a lifetime. In reality, Kato Shields did not care too much about receiving honors or trying to find influence by befriending powerful alliance figures. Instead, his only thoughts were about, hello, Captain, please do not strike me with those eyes. Don't start me with that. Yeah. Never mind that. Ava? Can you not see that we are surrounded by the most powerful men and women in the Alliance right now? And under the lens of virtually the entire galaxy's press corps? If word got out about our relationship, our reputations would surely be dragged through the mud in every tabloid from Solaris to New Eden. I don't know, I think maybe, since you're heroes, you'd probably become like the new big couple of the galaxy or something. I mean, think of how people operate. You'd be really popular in the media. Don't worry too much. It's not like the command can fire me at this point. Captain, you are far too lackadaisical about this whole affair. Even your uniform is wrinkled. Oh, Ava did her best to straighten his jacket. This is how the galaxy's going to see Captain Kato Shields. I'm not interested in presentation, I'm afraid. I'm just here to get the job done. Ava sighed in hopelessness. Yes, Captain, I am painfully aware of that fact. Despite the old universe being destroyed, Ava and Shield's feelings for each other remained. Even if they ruffled each other's feathers from time to time, Ava would always stand watch over the captain, and also straighten out the feathers that got ruffled, as you can plainly see. Ever the loyal advisor and partner. In a way, the two of them were destined from the very beginning to stay together, a partnership where each one covered for the other. Standing alone, neither Shields nor Ava could be described as perfect. Well, I mean, Ava has a better chance of being called that than Shields. But together they formed a complementary whole. In the end, they were respectively the father and mother of the Sunrider. You know, Ava, one time I thought about settling down in Sarah after this was over. Just living the rest of my life out in peaceful retirement, far away from danger. But do you suppose we could ever do that? Captain, my place is on board the Sunrider. I was never too attached to this place. All it brings me are memories of my childhood. I can hardly remember my mother, but ever since she left, I remember a desolate household, and a father who never deigned to show a moment of affection during the few times of year when he was home. Yeah, that sucks. In fact, I quite enjoy the thought of traveling the galaxy. I would rather not sink my roots too deep anywhere. I see. Shields looked at the damaged skyline of the city. Many of the buildings he remembered were now demolished and replaced with structural struts as reconstruction work commenced. I've always wanted to return to this place, but I guess home will always be where your family lives. There's nothing more for me to do here. I've concluded my business here. I think it's time for me to return to space too. There's still a lot we have left to accomplish together. What say we continue as Captain and XO? No, as partners. Sir. Ava began to salute but caught herself. I don't mean like that, Ava. I've always loved you. I want to stay by your side. Wherever you are will always be my home now. You're all I have left. While that could be interpreted as sweet, it could also be interpreted as kind of pathetic. You're all I have left. I'm stuck with you now. Maybe you're stuck with me. No, that is far from the truth. Ava turned to where the crew of the Sunrider was chatting at the banquet table. We have them now. Shields looked at the girls he had gathered from across the galaxy. Asaga was busy trying to get Sola to socialize with the others, filling her plate with more food than she could eat. Ikari and Kriska were already busy arguing about Alliance rider equipment. Meanwhile, like Claude was being eye-ogled by a circle of important Alliance men. Ugh. Seriously, what was she doing chatting with those guys? Did she have some kind of geezer fetish? You're right. Shields put his arms around Ava. We'll protect them together. Our crew. Let's return to our home. Yes, Kato. But doubt creeped into Ava's heart. Did she truly love the man called Kato Shields? Was she capable of loving someone at all? Or was she but a calculating machine capable of only crunching numbers and deducing detached conclusions from the cold hard data? She knew that one day Shields' feelings for her would prove his downfall, and she would have to be there to save him that day came. Oh, fuck it. Why was I doing that? She made a resolution deep in her heart. She would always protect Shields, even from himself, and to do that, she could not let his love for her blind him from what had to be done. I'll always be your XO, above everything else. Perhaps that is the best gift I could give you. My days here were empty, devoid of color, merely an endless repetition of the same pointless movements. Save for one thing. The sound of your laugh whenever I was frustrated. It would drive me up the wall, but it was what got me through those times. In the end, it was you. What? Did you say something, Ava? No. I was merely murmuring to myself. Please disregard my sudden flight of fancy. In any matter, let us not stand here by our lonesome. We have much work to do, no? I personally intend to speak with the Alliance Finance Minister so we can acquire more funding for the reconstruction efforts. As the man of the hour, I fully expect you to do the same, Captain. But you know I'm not good at stuff like that. No buts, Captain. The security of Sarah is at stake here. Understood. With that, Ava pushed Shields away. Despite that, he secretly smiled to himself. He still remembered the look on Ava's face that night when they... That was certainly not the look of a woman with no sexual appetite for him. You sly motherfucker. No matter how cold she acted towards him, Shields knew that she wanted him with all her heart. What a complicated woman. Oh well, I'm sure this will sort itself out. Eventually. Right. Unless something new happens in this scene moving forward, I'm going to end this episode here. Like I said, I'll check through the whole killing Asaga with... killing Chigara with Asaga in this route to see how different it is. If it's substantially different, I may add this onto the video. I don't know, but assuming nothing different, just like last time, I'm going to end this episode here. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then.